I'm Igor Kafetz, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, a podcast for those who want to build a large profitable email list and make six figures from anywhere in the world. If you would like to get rich by building a large email list while helping people, this podcast is for you. I also invite you to attend a free web class I'm conducting this week to find out how I built a list of 4,331,656 email subscribers at a profit. Secure your free seat at igor.cx. Attend this free workshop to discover an easy way to get 50 to 500 new email leads per day on complete autopilot without losing tons of money. Just go to igor.cx to attend this free web class. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle. Welcome back to another episode of the List Building Lifestyle with your host, Igor Kafetz. As a serial entrepreneur, and I say serial in a very mild way, I guess, almost laughing, because most of the businesses I started were always in the online education space, specifically in the make money online niche, teaching other people or assisting people to work from home. But as a serial entrepreneur, I've always faced the challenge that most serial entrepreneurs face today, and that is, how do you combine your family life, your personal life, other than your family, and your business? Because if there's any serial entrepreneur out there listening right now, I'm sure you guys can resonate with that. Basically, when you're an entrepreneur and when you subscribe to the belief that the purpose of life is continuous improvement in every area of your life, you always stumble to this challenge of, how can I be at my best? How can I become the best person I can be it as a parent, as a husband or a partner, as a business owner, as a friend, as a human being. And what you find is that to become great at anything, you need time, energy, and focus. These are the primary resources that are required to become great, to become skilled at pretty much anything in your life. That's why for the first 3 to 5 years or so in my online business, I don't remember doing anything other than learning copywriting, product creation, influence, and all the necessary skills to become successful online, and pretty much, in any business. So I spent all these years getting really good at this stuff. So now I can do this on autopilot. And even so, it still requires a lot of time, a lot of effort to scale, right? So it doesn't require effort right now to maintain business where it is, but to take it to the next level every single month, lots of effort, energy, and focus is required. And think about, focus is that this is the kind of resource that doesn't quite replenish as fast as I would want it to replenish. Again, I'm not sure about most people. I can only speak for myself, but what I can tell you is that I have greater focus and greater ability to maintain focus on a particular task in the mornings than I do in the evenings. In fact, in the evenings, I can't do anything that requires actual focus. I can't really sit down to write an email, a copy, study a document, come up with a product idea. There's no way that I can do it in an email. So the reason I bring this up is because in order to maintain sanity and in order to live up to the kind of person I want to become, I need to invest energy and focus into every area of my life. Now, some areas have been getting more focus than others in my life in the recent couple of years, and especially since we relocated to Canada. However, still there's goals, right? I have goals as far as what kind of parent I want to be, especially with the second child on the way now, what kind of human being I want to be, what kind of husband would I like to be, what kind of friend would I like to be. And so every area of my life requires lots and lots of focus, but focus, as I said, is a very limited resource. It's the kind of resource that you have to be really careful about giving to certain things, because if you're not, what you'll find is you spread yourself thin, and then you don't really get results in any area of your life. In fact, what I find most common here is that a lot of people these days, they want to be everything to everybody. They want to be the jack of all trades. They want to have many skills and try many things and experience many different situations and people and careers, but what they're missing is that the secret to success, and has always been this way, like technology is not going to change that, the way society develops is not going to change that. The secret to success is investing yourself fully into one, two, maybe three, but usually just one or two skill sets. In other words, you can't really be good at everything, but if you're good at one thing, you will find success. And so as an entrepreneur, once you've got your one thing going, life gets much easier because you can use that one thing to build your wealth. But once you grow your wealth, and once you build your castle, as my mentor loves to call, basically, after a while you start building up your castle, you have something, right? You've built up some good stuff in your life. You've got relationships, you've got values, you've got possessions, and you kind of settle into a routine. Once you have all that, to take things to the next level and to not lose those things, you almost have to start mastering other skill sets at the same deep level. You've mastered your primary skill set, but time and focus become a challenge. They become a thing that holds you back versus the thing that got you successful. And that is something I've been really dealing with for the last several months, especially since we relocated to Canada several months ago, because I really had to get good at combining my personal life and my professional life. And not only working on kind of settling in a new country, getting a house, figuring out, the social situation, getting my daughter in a good private school and so on. Not only that, but more so kind of realizing that the older I get, the better I'll have to get at this skill of combining personal and professional life. And again, like I said, with a second child on the way, it's really critical to be able to maintain the growth in my business. Again, really critical for me to maintain the growth in my business while at the same time being a good parent, being a good husband, being a good friend, and being a good human being. So how do you do that? Like, what is the way? First off, I have to say that I'm sorry, but and this is a Canadian thing to say, I'm sorry, but there's no one way to do it. I don't think there is one way to do it, and I don't think there's a definite way to do it either. I believe that every single top performer that holds themselves to a high standard of quality of effort will always encounter this issue, will always have to find and fine-tune their balance in their personal professional life, which is where having a really supportive partner really comes handy, right? I mean, the difference between me and Anastasia, I'm like always moving forward. Like I am never satisfied with my life, and I'm always asking myself, like, if we're doing this, can we do this plus 10? Like if the results we're getting are X, can we do X plus 5 next month? And I'm always dissatisfied with what's going on. I'm almost never celebrating my victories. In fact, I think this is one thing that annoys the hell out of my team. It's like I don't take a break to celebrate. So my wife, on the other hand, she'd be happy if we would live in a shack on a swamp, as long as we're together. Like, that's my wife. As long as she's loved and she has someone else to love, and as long as there's food on the table, she'll be happy, she'll be satisfied, and she doesn't get, why do I keep pushing forward? How come I'm not satisfied with everything we've built in our lives? Because, we got a good life. We got a really comfortable lifestyle. We get to decide when and how we want to work. We get to put our daughter in the kind of schools we want, unlike other parents. For example, like Erica's been going to this camp. It's an art school where they learn how to dance, sing, and that sort of art, not paintings or anything. So this school is located literally 7 minutes away from my house, and one of the reasons that we live in the area that we do is because we wanted to be near good schools. Now, on the other hand, some parents are bringing their kids over to this camp, and they have two issues. First, they complain how expensive it is, because I think it's like $300 a week or $300 or or maybe $500 a month or something. Like, I really don't remember because my wife handles the finances in that case. And I wouldn't really care, right? Even if it was $1,000 a week, I'd still be paying that because my children is the one thing I'm not gonna, be a cheapskate about. Like, their education and their development is highly, highly important to me. In fact, it's one of the top 3 priorities in my life. Now, but they also have to drive about 40 minutes each way. So in the morning and in the evening, to pick their kids up and to drop them off. Now, what this tells me is that they chose to live in an area where there's no good schools around. So they have to make the sacrifice, and whatever they couldn't afford because they deliberately stayed like in a distant area, they now have to make up by driving for an hour and a half or whatever, however many hours in a week, in order to get that education for their kids. Now, on one hand, I applaud them for being willing to do that. Not every parent is willing to drive 40 minutes each direction twice per day to put their children in a good school, to get good education, to help their children develop with good teachers. But on the other hand, this only goes to show you that we knew exactly what we wanted and we made it happen. Now, when I say we, I really mean me. And I know it sounds very selfish, but like I said, my wife, she only cares about being loved, having someone else to love, and as long as there's like the minimum required for existence, she's gonna be happy about it, because that's, she came out of poverty just like me. Only, if my poverty was acceptable, like average poverty, she came from really bad, nasty poverty, the kind of poverty where you really do not have food on the table. Like, she woke up in the morning and that day she didn't know if they're gonna eat. So sometimes she had to shoplift, sometimes, I don't think they ever had to beg, but they were always moving because they couldn't afford, decent living. So there's been a bunch of stuff my wife went through that helped facilitate the character that she has right now. So, I chose to respond to poverty. Again, she had it way worse, of course. I chose to respond to poverty by becoming very aggressive about escaping it, right? Because today I wake up in the morning to this day with the idea, like with the fear, I don't want to be poor. Like, I'll do anything, but I will not be poor, and my family will not be poor, and I want to build my life in a way where there's no chance that the next couple of generations of my family are going to be poor, and I'm working on it, right? So I'm educating myself financially, not just about how to make more money, but how to manage the money, where to invest the money, and so on, which is really important, again, and requires time, energy, and focus. My wife, on the other hand, she chose by creating a comfortable enough lifestyle. So there's no want, there's no need for anything major. So all the basic stuff is covered. And at the same time, she doesn't get why I'm always pushing forward. So when I say that in order to create this balance, one of the partners has to be supportive of the dreams, goals, and aggressive pursuit of such of the other, I really mean it. Like, I don't see how in a marriage where both partners are aggressive and pushing forward, how it can work. In fact, I've seen many marriages fall apart because of that very reason. Yo, it's Igor. If you're loving the content, hop on over to listbuildinglifestyleshow.com for more free training and a free transcript of this episode. Oh, and I'd really appreciate if you logged into iTunes and rated the show. It really helps. Thanks. Now, I'm not a marriage counselor, obviously, but I believe one of the reasons why we were able to create and maintain a healthy household is that because she's very supportive, and even though at times she doesn't really get why would I keep pushing so hard, she's still very supportive about it, and she offers me the platform to keep doing it. So the lion's share of my free time in the mornings up until about 1 or 2 p.m. it goes into the business, like asking questions, asking the uncomfortable questions. Okay, which area of the business we suck at? What do we need to improve? What we need to create, etc., etc., etc. So we create more, we develop, we build more. We create a new webinar, we build a new service, we start a new mastermind, create a new product line, find a gap in the marketplace, go fill that gap, and so on. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing is getting very clear on what you want. Now, this is probably the most important thing for a top performing individual. And that is, when you wake up in the morning and you have all of these unfulfilled desires and dreams, what's really going on is that you just don't know what you want. Because the moment you know what you want, if you're a high performer, if you're a top performer, is the moment when you go out and get it. The moment you have really specific and really crystal clear clarity about what you'd like to achieve in your life, be it on the personal level, on the professional level, on the mental level, spiritual level, financial level, on any level. If you don't have a very specific goal listed on paper, trust me, you're not going to get there. And as much as I hate to say it, for the better part of my life, I went not having this down on paper. And even when I achieved some things, I was still very, very dissatisfied because I didn't know where I was going. Like, even if I made $1,000 that day, I still had no idea whether or not that's what I wanted. So I spent the last 6 months or so getting better at getting really specific about what I want, and not really about how I want to create it, but just what I want in every area of my life. And this is where I have to give big thanks to my coach Tom Beal, who kept on planting the seed about this for years of our work together, and kind of eventually allowing me the space to gradually come to a realization that it's something I need to do. And now, I have an occasional weekly, sometimes monthly, it really depends on what's going on in my life, but I always invest the time to list exactly what I want. And these priorities may even change from day to day, but what it really offers you is clarity of action. So clarity of outcome creates clarity of action. And the way we work as human beings is that we need that goal. Because just like Dr. Maxwell Schultz said in Psycho-Cybernetics, human being is a lot like a bicycle. A bicycle, if it's not in motion, it just falls on the side. If the bicycle's moving towards something, if the bicycle's in motion, the bicycle keeps going. Now, another analogy he gives in Psycho-Cybernetics, which is a great book, by the way. Like, if you're into self-help and success books, there's definitely a book you have to read. Another analogy he gives you is a missile, like a guided missile, where a guided missile, actually the way it works, the principle is it corrects itself against the end goal all the time. So without the end goal, without the purpose, the target, a very specific coordinate where it needs to hit, the guided missile could not ever work, because it has to it moves in a certain direction, then it corrects itself against the course towards that goal. So you have to be like a guided missile in order to develop laser focus and the ability to execute on your dreams. That I find to be very, very important. Now, the third thing, and the last thing I'm going to share with you today, that you I wouldn't say you absolutely required, because I haven't had it for the longest time, but it really, really helps, is picking on a hobby that requires mastery. For example, recently I picked up on drawing, on sketching, and I started going through. I went on udemy.com, not Udemy, udemy.com, which is a website where you can buy a bunch of courses about pretty much anything. And I picked up this sketching course by this fella who works for some art design studio or something, and he's really good. Like, the guy is really good. So I've always wanted to learn how to sketch. I sketched when I was a kid, but I never made anything out of it. But it's definitely something that I've I would say, semi-passionate about. Like, I'm not willing to drop everything and become, a full-time artist. Not at all. I'm way more passionate about marketing and influence and, business than I'm about sketching. But I noticed that when I stop working for the day, when I just kind of drop everything and want to, just mellow out, I just want to chill, I want to disconnect and kind of let my brain rest, what I find is that meditation or just sitting in a room staring at a wall doesn't actually work for me. And the thing I discovered is that if I invest even as little as 30 minutes into sketching, and not just random sketching, but actually focused sketching, following along with a teacher, creating a character, or doing something that requires brain power, mental power, my focus ability almost replenishes itself. Something about diverting focus from one activity to another, completely unrelated, allows me to recharge my battery. And I believe if I adapted this hobby years ago, I'd be able to achieve way more in my life on the personal side of things. Because just like any serial entrepreneur, I invest a big portion of my time. Today it's about 4 to 6 hours per day, mostly in the mornings, into my business. Now, when I'm not actually working on the business, I'm still working on the business because I'm answering messages from my team. I'm thinking of the big thoughts, big ideas, products, challenges. I'm not physically sitting there working on it, like I'm not near my computer, but I'm thinking about it. So by forcing your brain to shift focus to something completely unrelated, but still that's something that requires mastery, and then mastering it one bit at a time, I don't know, like there's something magical about it. I really don't know the scientific explanation why it works that way, at least for me. But I do know that the moment I've adopted this hobby into my life and I systematically worked to master it, that was the moment when I started kind of replenishing my focus and my willpower. And it became easier for me to then take this added energy for that day and invest it in my family. Spend more time with my daughter, quality time with my daughter. Spend more time with my wife, figure out creative solutions to, get our social life going here in a brand new country, and so on and so forth. Because again, like I said, every area of your life where you want to excel, where you want to be more than just a mediocrity, requires lots and lots of focus. Because without it, you're not going to come up with the right ideas. You're probably not going to follow through on these ideas, because focus is probably like this singular, powerful, really laser-like focus is one of the secrets to success that all successful individuals share. Now, the only difference between the people who are successful in business, but the rest of their for whom the rest of their life looks like ruins, and the people who are successful across every aspect of their life, is the people that are successful at everything. They give the same level of laser-like focus to every single area of their life, be it their personal health, their finances, the tomorrow money, their relationship, right? Everything that you want to excel at, anything you want to nurture, will always require that focus. So your job as an entrepreneur is to figure out a way to invest the best, the most focused hours of your day into your number one and number two activity. So if you're working a full-time job right now and you're kind of trying to build your online business in the evenings when your focus has been depleted and stolen by your pretty much everyone and everything in your life, and you're sort of coming in, exhausted and squeezed out, right, to try and build your business or to write an email to your list, your results will be exponentially worse than if you were to do it first thing in the morning. Trust me, that's why writers write first thing in the morning, because that's when you have the most focus. You have the ability not just to give time and attention to a task, but to also protect this, your focus and energy from being stolen by other things that may get in the way. So to recap, we've covered that focus is one of the single most important things for success in every area of your life. We spoke about the challenge every serial entrepreneur faces by trying to balance between their professional and personal achievements. And I shared 3 things that have really helped me to maintain high levels of focus, even when I was going through some tough challenges in my life that, really sucked a lot of my time, energy, and attention, and still being able to grow my company and to advance my business. So these things are A, a supportive partner, B, the ability to get clear on what I want in every area of my life, and C, a creative hobby that allows me to apply my desire to excel in a field where the stakes are low, however, the mastery is still required. So somehow that also helps replenish the energy. So that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Igor Kafitz, and until next time we chat, have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the List Building Lifestyle. Get access to previous episodes, the transcript of today's show, and exclusive content at our website at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. Also, don't forget to claim your free seat at the traffic workshop I'm conducting this week, where I'm showing how I built a list of 4,331,656 email subscribers without losing money, and how my clients are putting anywhere from 50 to 500 new leads per day on their list at a profit without any list building experience. Just go to igor.cx to claim your free seat now.